What's up guys, and welcome to the 23rd tutorial on my PHP backend. And in this tutorial we're going to talk a little about uniform requests and responses. So there is a standard called PSR, which I don't know exactly what it stands for, but you can see here that it's a common interface for HTTP messages. They have all kind of standard templates for interfaces. And you can also see by the downloads that it's pretty much a standard interface for HTTP requests. So it has like 13 million downloads. So I feel pretty comfortable installing this package. And it's from the PSR 7. And Packagize, by the way, is the way to go if you're looking for any kind of composer packages. So for example, if you're used to Node.js, it's kind of like npm or any equivalent of any package manager basically, and it's pretty okay. If you want to, you can just search for packages and find them basically. So we're going to take this package and install it in our project, and let's just basically just do that, see what happens. And by the way, I just recall, I'm not sure if I showed you that I changed the class map, because I think I forgot to show you that I changed my class map to only include the app folder. So it basically auto-loading everything in here, so the router will work. So if you had some problems with that, I'm sorry about that, and I hope it'll be fixed for you now. And of course, you can also go to the GitHub project and just clone it and see the differences if you're working along. If you're just using the template that I provide, it's totally up to you. But anyway, let's see how we install this. So you go to the root of your project, and then you just type composer require and then the package name, which in this case is psr/http message. So when you do this, can take a little while to download everything, and it kind of depends on your internet connection and so on. But what this will do, it'll modify your project a little bit. So as you can see in the vendor folder, I got a new folder called PSR, which is the package that I just installed. And it also generated a file called composer.log. And you can have a look at this. And this basically keeps track of everything that you have installed with Composer. So if we look at our Composer file, you can see also that it added the package as a require. And this is pretty neat actually, because this will keep track of every third-party package that we installed. And the good thing about this is that you don't have to include a vendor map in your version management, because this will, the composer.json file will keep track of all the packages that you installed with Composer. So whenever you pull the project, all you have to do is run composer install, and it'll install everything from in here basically. And it wildcards stuff by default. If you want to use a certain version, you can remove the caret. So if you want to use version 1.0, you just remove the caret. But the caret means that you got to use version 1.0 or anyone above it. But as you can see, this can also make you run into version problems. For example, when you take your application and put it on live server, it might be some problems because you might have one version of a package, and then the live server pulls down everything and installs a different version with some, maybe it's not backwards compatible or something. And that's where the composer.log file come in. So this file will be generated for you, and you can of course read through everything here if you like, but the main point that you understand with composer.log is that this file keeps tracks of the exact versions that you're using. So for example, if you have a composer.log file in your project and you run composer install, it won't look in the composer file, it will look in the composer.log file. So if because there have been some discussions, and one common mistake people do is that they git ignore the composer.lock, which is basically the quite opposite of what you want to do. You definitely want to have your composer.lock file in your version management, because then you can make sure that everybody that's run composer install get the exact same version of all the packages that you have. So if you do that, please make sure that you don't remove the composer.lock file. You don't have to manage it in any way. It'll update itself whenever you install packages or update packages. So it's just for verification purposes of package versions, basically. So you can also see that I got this folder called PSR, and it has a folder called HTTP message. And in this we have all the files, and this package is just interfaces. So we're going to use request interface and response interface. We're going to start with request interface. So if we open this one and have a look in here, you can see that there is no implementation in here. The only thing that it does is specify the standard functions that you should provide for your requests. And this is pretty neat actually, because this enforces uniformity, so that responses will be the same and they will work, especially they will work in the same way. And they're pretty decent. They're very well documented here, so you can just read through every section if you like and see what the implementation is expecting. And this request interface, it extends the message interface, so we're gonna have a look at that as well. So this is this is a more abstract interface on the previous one. So this is the base interface. And you can see also that it has, you need to specify the protocol version of HTTP that you're using, and with some variants to it also. And you can, for example, collect the headers, HTTP header, and check if it has any headers and get header by name and everything. So this enforces the uniformity of requests, and in this case messages. So this is for the request, and there is one also for the responses, and it inherits the same interface, the same base interface. So this is for the responses, so you can get the status code and the default values and yeah, everything of that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take this, we're going to start with the request interface, and we're going to make a class that implements this interface. So that was the abstract notion of the coming tutorials, and I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.